of special guests tonight. So we've got Debbie Loffman, who we'll be speaking to in just a minute. She's in the race for Mayor of Coeur. And then we're going to be talking to Charlene Phipps a little later in the program after that. And while we're here live, and even as we're talking to Debbie, we encourage you to put your questions and comments right into the comment section on whichever platform you're watching. And so that more people here in Kootenai County can hear straight from these candidates, we want you to share this feed to your page or profile. Even right now while it's live, even if you're listening back, share the feed, because being able to hear from candidates directly is so important for our community. In my opinion, we don't do it enough. And for lack of live debate, we here at Liberty Without Compromise love to be able to provide this platform for you to have an exchange and ask these questions while they're on your mind. And sometimes the questions, you don't know what you want to ask until you're hearing from the candidate. And as they get into a topic, you think, hey, I want you to expound on that, or I want to hear a little bit more. So as you think of those questions, put them right there into the comment section. And when appropriate, we will get those over to Debbie as we're talking to her.
And Thomas Jefferson said it very eloquently and to the point. The government that you elect is the government you deserve. So while we have a large amount of candidates running for many different offices, it is incumbent upon you to do your own research. There's many different platforms out there that you can look up all these candidates, go to meet and greets, listen to their town halls. Don't just go off of the KCRCC voting guide because you're a Republican and
that's an arranged. You know what? I just realized what that's like. That's kind of like an arranged marriage.
Maybe.
Or like married at first sight.
Yeah.
You only find out what the issues are until after you say I do. Mm-hmm. You watch it go down in real time.
Well, hey, we are so happy tonight to have on our fourth mayoral candidate for Coeur d'Alene. Is it now playing?
Oh, what am I hearing? Oh, goodness gracious. I don't know what.
I'm going to have to give that introduction again.
What do we have going? Oh, goodness.
What do we have playing?
I don't know. What is happening?
When you give me the cue, I'm gonna restate what I was saying.
I don't have anything playing that I can see.
It's not on.
Hold on, I think I know what it is. I got it. Okay.
Copy that.
All right. Debbie, I'm so sorry. We're usually so much more like on top of it than that.
You guys.
We are excited.
Hello, Dan. Hello, Donna.
We're glad to have you on.
Thank you.
So you are the fourth. Yeah, yes. You're the fourth candidate.
Yeah.
I don't know if she can hear us or not.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. I have my headphones on. Yes, I'm the fourth candidate. 3 men and a baby. I think that was a movie. Anyway, yeah, I put my hat in the ring for running for mayor. And in order to vote for me, you have to know a little bit about me. So I'm going to just tell you a little bit about me. How's that?
Great. Excellent.
Do you guys know me? I mean, you've seen on other platforms, but it's the same. I was born and raised in St. Paul, Minnesota.
I was born in Minnesota.
What part?
Now I just forgot.
St. Paul in Hennepin County.
Minneapolis.
Oh, you were? Well,
cool.
Hennepin County.
Right. So you know snow. We know snow. It's big time over there. Yeah. Born and raised in St. Paul, Minnesota, in a wonderful Baptist family. My dad wanted to try farming when I was about 7 years old. So we moved to a farm in Wisconsin and dairy farming. And it was really, really hard work. And we only lasted there 5 years. So back to St. Paul. Then when I was in my 20s, I moved to a suburb of Sacramento. And I started a tenant screening company that screens tenants for landlords. And it grew to having 11 employees, and I sold 5 franchises of it. After running it for 10 years, I sold it. Then I got my real estate license and my broker's license, and I opened another company, Loffman Realty and Property Management, which I've been running for 20 years. So I'm dealing with owners and tenants and vendors and all kinds of things. I'm married My husband's a meteorologist, and I have 2 children and 2 grandchildren. And I've met I met a daughter of yours. So I don't know how many kids you have, but I met one of them.
We have loads.
How many kids do you have? 5?
Between the two of us, we have 8.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So anyway, I have 2 kids, 2 grandkids. And so back to the question, why am I running for mayor? A couple of reasons. I want to be a voice for people in our community that don't feel heard. And I want to add a little more conservative perspective to the Coeur d'Alene government. So that's that's why I'm running. And another question you asked me was, what issues are the most important? Right?
Yeah.
Growth is probably the most important issue on people that I talk to. Excuse me. They don't like what they think is uncontrolled, out of control growth downtown. And so they tell me it's the biggest challenge. And as I listen to them, the majority of them are upset with the high rises coming up downtown. At one point, we had 3 cranes going on. And it was just really upsetting to the people. So what I'd like to do is, work with builders and developers to kind of slow down that growth, see if we can have maybe height limits on future buildings, because the character and the charm of Coeur d'Alene is very important, and we don't want to lose that as we grow. Second concern would be balancing the budget. There's a lot of ways you can do that. I'd like to work with the department heads and ask them, how can we reduce spending in your department just by 2%? Let's go department by department, saying what's working, what's not working. How can we reduce the budget a little bit so that we can balance it? And lastly, I'm a huge supporter of our police and our first responders. I want to make sure they have all the resources they need to keep our city safe.
Outstanding. Now, you had said that you wanted to be a voice, if I heard you correctly, you want to be a voice for those that that are not as well represented, or did I hear you correctly on that?
Yeah, that's true. That's what I feel.
Who would those be, and give us a little more background on that?
I suppose more of a conservative Republican background. That's what I feel. That's what I am.
Sure. So you've lived in Kootenai County for how long?
5 years. The first year as a renter. And then in 2021, we bought our home in Coeur d'Alene Place.
Okay.
When you mentioned being a voice for conservative Republican, I think that lands in a really good place for a lot of people countywide. And I think there's maybe been a perception that representation in Coeur d'Alene proper is less conservative. I would love to hear from you. What are some of the things that you know of candidates in the running as to positions they've taken, or how they've voted, or how they've maybe represented or misrepresented as they're in their official capacity now, that maybe aren't in line with your worldview or some of those conservative things that you would plan on bringing? What would that contrast be? What are some of the things that you might see in leadership making missteps in Coeur d'Alene that you would bring as a conservative that would be different?
That's a really good question. Let me think about that. I guess I wouldn't be for all the fast growth. I don't know if that's a conservative or what that is, but that's one thing I see is I thought the growth was just kind of out of control. And, maybe it had to be that way, but I don't exactly know what the other candidates, how conservative or liberal they are. I have made it a promise that I would not speak negatively of the other candidates. I'm not even going to call them opponents. They're just other candidates for mayor. And because I'm not going to talk negatively about them, I have to talk positively about myself all the time. And it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, it's tough to do. And I had a conversation the other day where I was saying, when done correctly, when you're campaigning, when you're running a race, and even when you have a viable opponent, there should be an element of fun to it. I mean, it's fair. It's like going into any kind of a fair contest, and we want to be challenged. And I think done correctly, it can be a good thing instead of being viewed as negative. So, and I was so much more looking for, what are some voting records and things that you would say they, Woody or some in his capacity, since he's the incumbent, I thought maybe if you had been familiar with some of his positions where you would be different. So it's not so much diminishing what they're doing, but just kind of where it would be different. And there was more what I was thinking, not to put you in a position to have to put them in a negative light.
This brings up a good question. As you know, I ran for sheriff last year, and one of the things that pissed me off more than any other thing is the fact that nobody would force a debate. And I think that the people are owed a debate by anybody that's running, yourself included. So my question is, have you been in talks with any of the other four to have an open public debate? And if so, what can you tell us about that? And if not, why? Why not?
Well, we've been on panels where we've said, our answers on some of the questions that you're asking. And in the League of Women Voters, the last one, all of the candidates for mayor and for city council were all lined up, and we were all given questions and answers. And then at the end, people wrote down some questions for each candidate, like on a piece of paper. And so each candidate got like 3 questions. I got 3, Dan got 3, pretty much everybody got 3 or 4 questions. So as I'm sitting here, you can see me. So Dan is sitting to my left, and John Pulsifer's to my right, and then Woody down there. So we're all kind of in a row, and we're all talking. And Dan Gukin leans over to me. He goes, "Look at my question. It says, what do you think about Debbie Loffman?" And I looked at it and I said, "That's not your question, but I'll answer it for you. She's nice. She's relatable. She's a good businesswoman. She might make a good mayor." And we laughed, So it's a little bit of an olive branch. It was a little bit of breaking of the ice, and I don't have anything against them. I'm not their enemy in any way.
But would you debate? Because I did the panels too. I did a lot of them, and to me, they were subjective because whoever's controlling the questions may or may not give the candidates all or the appropriate questions. It's prejudicial, but there is nothing better than an actual all on one-on-one or 4-on-4 debate to see, what are truly the differences. You guys are vying for the highest position inside Coeur d'Alene. So what does that look like in reality with you guys being able to go back and forth? So I have not asked that question of any of the other candidates, but I am asking them as well. Will any of you push for a debate? And if not, what is the real reason why you would be against that?
I don't know. I'd probably like to ask Dan that, myself. As you know, this is a new venture for me. I've been a businesswoman. I have not been in politics. This is no joke. And so they're going to know all of the ins and outs. I haven't burned any bridges. I shouldn't have any enemies. So, I don't, and I don't know the players. I don't know that stuff. Maybe that's important. I think it's probably okay. I think it's probably a plus on my end. But the role of mayor is executive. It's not legislative like the council. The job is leadership. It's building a cohesive team. A good leader has the ability to work with all types of people that are more liberal than you, people that are more conservative than you, working with all types of people. Good communication skills, finding common ground. And I want to be known, if I'm mayor, I want to be known as a mayor who is a champion of small businesses. A champion of small businesses. I love small businesses. I want to support them whenever I can. I want to encourage our young people to start a business. I can help you with that. I know how to start. I was really young when I started one. And I'd like young people to start their own business and be a part of our community. So that's what a really big thing for me is small businesses.
So we have a bunch of questions coming in, and I probably better get to some of these. Ed DePriest, talking property rights into consideration.
Taking.
Excuse me, I don't have my glasses. What will you do? What will you do that is within the state local land use planning act and state land use statutes to manage growth?
What would I do within those?
Yeah. So on the screen, yep. What will you do that is within the state local land use planning act?
What will you do that is within the state local land use planning act and state land use statutes to manage growth? Yeah. Boy, I'd have to really research that and get back to you. I know the comprehensive plan is about 111 pages long. My husband has read every word of it, and I've thumbed through it. So I would have to get back to you, Ed DePriest. I'll get back to you on that. I'll do some research on that for you.
So we're just scrolling through questions here to make sure we haven't missed any. I think that there's a common theme of some of the questions that people are wanting to ask, but what other things, before we dive into some of these other questions that all are similar, what would be, in your opinion, the greatest thing that you bring as far as who you are to the office? It's the greatest benefit for you to lead the city as chief executive officer.
I guess the greatest benefit is I'm friendly. I love people. I think I'd be a good representative. Also, working with the various departments to balance the budget. I think I'm really good working with people. I ran both of my companies debt free, and not that I didn't make any mistakes, but I ran them debt free, and I had really good employees and really good relationships. It's really important to have a good relationship with all the departments within the city. I believe I can do that. I think I'm an easy person to get along with. I think that's the most important part about my personality is I'm easy to get along with. I have good leadership skills.
Yeah, and I think that now that we've had a chance to talk with all four of you, I don't think there's one candidate that's a jerk.
No, that's why you can run a good race, because it doesn't have to be about that. Now, one thing I want to bring this up because I think it transitions into something else. So Nikki Betts has left a comment. We need less people in politics running and more that have a vested interest in their community. Experienced politicians have done zero for us.
Yeah, I agree.
So I am one that agrees that political experience isn't what's necessary. But what definitely is, when you don't have somebody with political traction or that political track record, voting record or opinion, those things in the community, what being crucial is what their background and experience is that then lends itself to the office. And with that, what we know has been circulating is, with your experience in real estate as a broker, there were some pieces that came to light in the last couple few days. And we most definitely, that's the common theme in some of these other comments being made. So we want to give you the opportunity to let's talk about that, because I think that's one of the things is rumors. We were subject to this. Rumors would circulate, and we're always ones that say, bring us facts. Let's talk about it. Let's go straight to the source. So on this, I appreciate you being willing to talk about what is being said, and we would love to hear straight from you. I don't know, Dan, if you want to clarify specifically,
just to
fill in listeners too.
Revisit last week, we had obtained basically a court motion or ruling rather that was regarding you and some previous some business issues, commingling trust fund accounts with personal funds. And at the conclusion of the audit, I believe you're audited from, what was it, March to April of 2017. Thereabout. And the ruling came back that they were investigating you because of two things that I saw. One was the mixing of the trust funds. For those of you that don't know, trust fund is money that a client has dedicated for maintenance or other issues of a property, in this case, and your own personal funds. And then the second one was the apparent charging, it looked like a 5% markup for managing fees that was not disclosed to the to the, I guess it would be your clients. And through all that, it looked like that rather than go through the complete the trial, if you will. And again, this was new to me. I'm not familiar with real estate courts, but it looks like California has its own real estate court. That you took what we would call a plea deal, which included suspension of license for a time and some, for lack of a better word, restitution that had to take place in order for you to be restored. So based on that, we've had these articles that have been popping up. One came out today by the North Idaho Republican. So that's kind of a little bit of background. And what is your side?
You know, I appreciate you coming to the source and ask me about it. Okay, so in my intro, I said I've been a real estate broker for 20 years, owning my own property management company. And in 2017, so 8 years ago, okay, in property management, you have two accounts. You have an operating account, and in the operating account is your income and how you pay your employees, your rent, your expenses. And then there's a trust account that is security deposits of a tenant. Say you're a tenant of mine and you give me $1,800. I keep it in a trust account until you move out, and then it's processed and either given back to you or pay for carpet cleaning, whatever. Two deposits, one for the operating and one for the trust account, were brought into my bank. And the teller accidentally switched them. She put the one for the trust account in the operating, and the operating in the trust account. That would be considered commingling. They were fairly small amounts. I think one was $3,000, one was $5,000, and they just went like that. And I didn't see it within 21 days because we get a printout, like a bank statement. And then we reconcile our account. And when we were reconciling, we're like, hey, we're off by $2,000. What happened? So the difference between the $3,000 and the $5,000 is $2,000. And we were off. So I said, what happened? We found it. We corrected it. But the Department of Real Estate saw it. And they came down hard on me. I mean, so hard on me. I was dumbfounded that mistake, I didn't even do it myself, but I didn't see it in time. That mistake was like huge. I didn't realize. They fined me $8,000, the combination of the two deposits. They made me pay for the audit, which was $4,500. They had me take 24 quizzes over months of time and a final exam that was really long. I mean, I didn't think I was dumbfounded.
So we're for my own. I'm talking over Dan too, but so the two accounts that were considered commingling were either of those personal accounts? I think as you described
one's an
them,
operating. No, not one's an operating where I pay all my bills.
A business account.
an
They're both
business
under-
operator.
Yeah, and they're both under the same name, Loffman Property Management Operating, Loffman Property Management Trust.
Okay,
So
I think
that's why the teller got them mixed up, because they're both the same name. It's
How
just
long?
different account numbers.
How long after you made this erroneous deposit, or the banker did? At what point did you guys then find out? How far down the line was that?
40 days.
So did you self-report that to
No.
the?
No, they see it.
You didn't?
When you're audited, they'll just see it. I don't know how they see it, but they do.
Okay, so that's a question I have. So I've been in business 26 years.
Yeah.
When we fail to report something that does happen from time to time, and we catch it, we identify what we did. We correspond and communicate with the regulating agency or the taxing agency in order to get ahead of that. But what I'm asking is that, so you made the correction internally. You
Yes.
did not, even though you knew that there was the 21 days to report, despite that, you did not report it, and then it was picked up on an audit. Is that correct?
I guess so. I don't know.
What prompted the audit?
They do it all the time. I mean, not all the time, but I mean, every like 3 years.
Mhm.
And
So,
you know what? This isn't unusual. I contacted other property management companies because I'm an award-winning property management company. You probably know that, but I've won best property management in my region of over 1 million people 12 years in a row. So I'm doing something right. But I talked to other ones and they go, yes, we did that too. Yes, we did that too. Yeah, that happened to us. So it's not uncommon.
There's no requirement though to self-report that.
No, there isn't. There's no requirement. Mm-mm.
So if they come back and they penalize you, were you not able to go back to the bank and say, hey,
I did.
You guys
I
did
did.
this? And then at what point was the bank obligated under error and omissions to, basically vouch for their mistake in defense of you?
Great question. And I did go into the bank and I talked to the bank manager and I said, look what happened. And I'm in big trouble. They're coming down hard on me. And she said, honestly, we know not to put security deposits into an operating account. We know that. So they talked to the teller. I didn't want to get the teller fired or anything like that. I just said, look, you guys got to be careful because this is falling on me. And I paid handily for it. So, but I did clear it up.
What did they take away from you when they restricted your license? Paint a picture for us as to what were you doing before that all of a sudden you found yourself no longer able to do until you completed the terms of the plea?
Nothing. A restricted license, doesn't have any weight on what I did. I think it just means that if you do it again, you're in big trouble.
But I thought your license was suspended, so they did not suspend it, or how does that work?
Only for a couple of days because I had to get some paperwork and I had to have that final exam. So it was just for a couple of days. It wasn't long. So
how long did it take them to reinstate your license then? From the time
I called them for another audit. And I asked them, could you audit me again? It was 3 years later. So they came in and audited me again. And the Department of Real Estate representative called me after that audit that I called for. And he said, Debbie, do you know that your audit was 100% clear? And I said, yeah, it wasn't. And he said, do you know how rare that is? And I said, no, I don't know how rare that is. He says, it's almost unheard of. That's what he said to me. That's exact words. So, hey, I was like, we're trying. I try not to make any mistakes, but look, if people want to criticize me for that infraction, they should try running a property management company in highly regulated, highly taxed California. Just do it and see if you can never make a mistake like that.
So are you fully
tough.
restored right now?
Yes, yes.
You're,
But
you're,
I
you're
am
fully
kind of,
restored.
yeah, I am kind of semi-retired because I have some really excellent people working for me, and they will eventually buy the company from me.
So just to make certain that I'm understanding this correctly, because it's somewhat confusing to someone that's not in the industry, but from the time that you took the deal to not fight it and to accept the regulations or the restrictions, penalties, if you will, that took place on or around what, 2018, September 2018, somewhere around there.
Maybe, yeah.
And then from that point forward, how long did it take for you to get that restored?
I had to call.
I think this is where some of the people
I had to call for it. I had to call for it. They would have just kept me on that forever. They don't
calendar year, or how long did it take you though to restore? How long did it take you to restoration process? I guess is probably a better way of putting it.
It didn't really affect my business at all. So, I just called for another audit so that I could have it unrestricted. That's all.
I think what I heard you say was three years later, you called for the audit.
Yeah.
I think that's what I heard you say earlier. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I paid my dues. And, look, if an infraction like that is something that would cancel me, I'll fully accept that. I'm not a person that dodges trouble, or, if people say, hey, I don't like you because of that. Well,
I appreciate, and I know our viewers, I appreciate the transparency. I think in a lot of cases with people running for office, the simpler thing to do is just say, I'm going to issue a written statement, put it out there, and try to counteract things with that. So this, I appreciate your boldness in coming on and explaining. I do know that people's concerns are, and when we had spoken of this before, it's like, hey, let's give the benefit of the doubt. Honest mistakes happen in these very complex industries.
It is. So, but really hard.
What it does come back, and I think the concern for people is when they need to trust a history of business experience and managing budgets and doing that work in public office, when what they have, or the track record, as people have said before, I'm running on my record, when it's not blameless, or when there are questions like that, it becomes an issue, because that's where people have to look. That's what they have to see in what your business skill set is.
I get it. I've been in business for 40 years. I've only made that one error.
I guess I'm curious as to what the teeth of the thing is, because in the agreement that you had made under the order, it states all licenses and licensing rights of respondent under the real estate law are revoked, provide however restricted real estate broker license. So, I mean, what I'm hearing you say is it's not really a big deal. It didn't hamper your business. And I'm thinking, well, if that's the case, then what the hell is any of that for? Why the penalties? Why the suspension if it's not a big deal? What can you say about that?
I didn't say it was a big deal. I said I thought it was the punishment was harsh.
Well, no, I mean, it wasn't a big deal as far as it did not affect your business and your ability to continue.
Right. And that deposits that were switched, it hurt no one but me. No one was affected by that for that 40 days. It was only hurting me. I only got hurt.
Why did you choose to settle versus fight it?
That was a personal decision of mine, something I was handling at the time. So my sister had just died, but anyway, I didn't even want to talk about it. I don't want any excuses. I took responsibility for it, and I just fessed up to it. So, I don't know if you can see this.
I can barely see. I mean,
I'll expand the screen so we can all see it together.
Can you take down
bring-
that question for a minute?
Pull it down here.
I got it.
Loffman Property Management has been selected 12 years in a row for the Best of Rockland Awards for Property Management. Now qualifies for the 2025 Rockland Business Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Not an easy thing to do, so I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I am a good businesswoman. I made a mistake. I fessed up to it. I really, really am careful now. We balance our trust account every 20 days to the
I bet you
penny.
do.
You're like,
To the penny.
Learn from that one.
and I'm yeah. So anyway, but let's go back to why. How would I govern differently? How would I be different as a mayor? One thing I want to do, since I just said that I want to be known as a mayor as a champion of small business. Okay, I want to visit the small business owners. I want to talk to them about, hey, how can we help you? How can your business grow? I would like to have a website, something called like a mayoral website, where I advertise new businesses. Hey, this just opened up. It's a Italian restaurant. Come and visit. They're new, or maybe someone's having some kind of a special or some kind of an event on the mayoral website. I'd like to have all these businesses on there that we can promote and help our businesses grow, because that's what makes our city vital is our businesses. So
I guess I would love to know what are some of the top 2 or 3 things that local businesses in the area, what their challenges are, so that you could bridge the gap to what their challenges are and promote, wanting to bring in new business. What are the current challenges, and what would you do to bridge that gap?
That's what I want to find out. That's what I visited most of them I went last Friday. I went around to most all the businesses on Sherman, and then I went down to 4th Street, which is also another little business corridor there, where Izzy's is and Pilgrims and all of that. And traffic is one of the things that they're talking about downtown, and the loudness of the thing, So that's one thing that we have to kind of look at is traffic flow. And especially now with all the building going on, it's a little more crowded. So
and permits. Permits.
Debbie,
oh my gosh, yeah. Streamline the permit process. Thank you. Wow. Yeah.
Debbie, do you currently have a business in Kootenai County, or is your business solely in California?
It's in California. So I don't know if I'll open a business here. It just depends on what happens here with this mayoral race. And like I say, if Dan or Woody or John Pulsifer win, I will be supporting them as best as I can. I have no grudges. I have no problem with them, and I would support them if they ran.
Awesome. So do you think though that it's important to have an actual business inside Kootenai County if you're going to champion small businesses? I mean,
well, I've already done that. I've already done that.
But I mean, it seems a little bit odd to me as a business guy to be talking about something that you're profiting from the economy of California, but not actually from what I'm hearing you say, you're not contributing to the economy with your business here locally, but you're saying you want to represent. Did I get that wrong?
I could. I mean, I haven't opened a business here. I'm kind of a busy grandma now. And the other thing, one of the things that you asked about is a good leader is also a good servant, a good volunteer. I have a community service called Grandmas to the Rescue. Have you heard about that?
I have.
Yeah. So I partner with a couple other ladies, and we find women, young moms that are in need of some assistance. And so we go in and we help, usually once a week, and organize and do laundry and clean the kitchen. and gives the mom a little break and lets them know somebody cares, somebody's here to help you. So that's what we have. That's a little community service, I guess, a ministry called Grandmas to the Rescue, and I love it a lot. It's a really, because the strength of our families are really important, and you would know that when you had young kids, if there was somebody that would come and help you once in a while. It's it's really
Definitely.
nice. It's really nice to know.
Yep.
So anyway,
Are you a member of the Chamber of Commerce?
I was for the past 2 years. I didn't renew.
Yeah.
I just was kind of busy, but I didn't renew. But I'm contemplating renewing that now because I put my hat in the ring. So I'm thinking I probably might join that again. Be a part of that.
Looks like one more question. Let's see if I can read it correctly from here.
Is it Christus?
Yeah.
So the curiosity is, depending on the outcome of this mayoral race, would you be interested in any other office aside from the mayor?
I don't know. That would be something I'd have to look at the time. So.
Yeah, sometimes it creates a spark. You get the bug, and then the idea is there, and
yeah.
And then some of us do it one time, and we're like, we're done.
Oh my gosh, no! It's like I say, it's no joke. It's really no joke. So your life is on, in an open book. But but I really, really appreciate both of you. I thank you for what you do, and I appreciate you letting me speak my piece. But may the best man win. Really.
Yep. I think that's.
Any closing comments for us tonight?
I guess all I would want to say is I believe I'd be a good mayor. I believe I'd really be a champion for Coeur d'Alene and represent you well. It's kind of like an ambassador, and I think I would do that well. But we'll let the
How can people? Can people get in touch with you? There may be questions that are still trickling in. They want to ask those. They can hit you directly or find more information. I think you've got a website, so why don't you let us know best way to contact you and learn more?
Okay, it's Debbie Loffman for Idaho.com. Debbie Loffman for Idaho.com. And for is FOR, Debbie Loffman for Idaho.com.
All right.
Just email me and but yeah. I love people. I love my city. Oh, another thing I was going to say is Coeur d'Alene is really fun. It's a fun city. People are out there kayaking. They're ATVs. They're fishing. They're swimming. They're hunting. They're snowmobiling, skiing. Whatever. It's fun. It's fun here. So I'd like to keep that up.
Well, we greatly appreciate you coming on and facing the questions. Obviously, this interview has generated a far different set of questions than what we normally see, but you stayed through it. I have a respect for you for doing that. You are the current KCRCC vetted and endorsed candidate. Is that correct?
Or recommended?
I don't think they endorse.
Yeah. So. But anyway, well, we greatly appreciate your time, and everybody go check Debbie out and send her questions if you have further questions that we didn't get to tonight, didn't see, or you thought of afterwards. And again, hopefully you guys will have a debate. I would come and watch that debate.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right. Thanks again, Debbie.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Donna.
You're very welcome. Thank you. I put that QR code up in the corner, so if you snapshot that'll get you right to Debbie Loffman's website. She, again, is running for mayor in Coeur d'Alene against incumbent Woody McEvers, and then
City Councilman Dan Magookin. Sorry, Magookin. Dan Gookin, and
he didn't deserve that.
And
John Pulsifer, who's a new face to politics in Kootenai County, a local business owner.
Here's what I appreciate about people that have not run before. I think that it was stated at the beginning of the show by one of the viewers that we need less professionals and lot more
We don't need professional politicians.
professional politicians. Thank you for fixing that for me. But again, last week we had not heard from her. We did bring up the issue with the real estate, and I'm not going to say that she's a liar because I don't know her heart. I don't know how that business operates. I didn't have time to dive into every piece. I mean, there's some things there that to me are still questionable. But she's stated what her answers are, and it's up for the voters to decide. I will make one small note because number one, it's not my intent to bring anybody on and continually offend them, and I understand what it's like to be on the hot seat. But I do want to point out, because she is a KCRCC recommendee, that when you pull up her survey, and I would encourage you guys to pull up surveys, because some of the people that are endorsed are complete idiots. I mean, their answers should disqualify them from being a representative. Now, not every person that's recommended is an idiot. I'm never going to make that whole blanket statement unless I'm in a mood. Right? But
even I would correct you on that, because it's not straight across the board.
There was one question of hers, and this is something for you guys to ponder. Again, I don't have a dog in this fight. I can't vote there in Coeur d'Alene. But it was the last question of the KCRCC survey, which you can go and download this survey and her answers. But it says, do you have any history of tax liens, criminal record, bankrupt of interest, personal or professional? And she said no. Now, some people have said to me that was dishonest, because she, I believe, still has one step to get it expunged from the record.
Okay. All right.
Right. So some people are of the opinion that was untruthful, and that if it wasn't for others in the community that looked it up and found these records, that she was hoping that it would be swept under the rug. There are those that have also stated that not admitting to this would show a pattern of either untruthfulness and or inability to lead, because of, again, if it's a minor issue and you're just going to let it slide. My issue on the whole deal is self-report. If you do something wrong, IRS, Department of Revenue, whoever the agency, best practices for somebody that's been in business a very long time is, and if you're successful, is that you communicate, own up to it, pay whatever penalties, but you don't just wait for the auditors to come in and catch you, because every time they do that, it's not good. So anyway,
and then you said, this is one expression that I got really sick of hearing, because when we took criticism in our campaign, even now, people say, why do you keep railing on Bob Norris? Get over it already. And they'll say, I was even a fan of yours. I don't have a dog in the fight. So I'm harping on you a little bit here, because you said you didn't have a dog in the fight.
Meaning that I can't vote.
Well, I understand. And so I'm going to admit, I do have a dog in the fight, because we have been very vocal about the shortcomings of the Kootenai County Republican Central Committee vetting process, the interview process, and the questionable recommendations that they have made, with an increasing track record for candidates who have been rated and vetted, that they're pushing out there and spending a ton of money on to push onto the county to say, these are our most conservative vetted candidates. And so we have been very vocal coming out against them and critical of them. Yeah. So in terms of a dog in the fight, I do want to be honest about that. Like, from that vantage point, I definitely do have I was going to say something, a chicken in the ring. I was like going to say when you have chicken fights. Yeah. I didn't want to say the word. You didn't want to
say that word? Cockfight?
Well, because then it got really bad from there. Just let it go. I
would have said cockfight myself.
But yeah, I mean, dog in the fight, because
that's because I'm Scottish.
Yes. Oh, and